And as the country just wrapped up Child Protection Week, Ibhola Ekhatywayo Ngamantombazana, a groundbreaking youth development initiative, is harnessing the power of soccer to tackle two of the nation's most urgent challenges, namely gender-based violence as well as child abuse. And by mentoring young girls and boys, the program cultivates leadership, resilience as well as ambition, while also inspiring girls to break barriers in professional sports. And through structured training as well as mentorship, the initiative not only provides a safe haven for vulnerable youth, but also calls on communities to uphold their duty in safeguarding children and fostering environments where they can thrive. The initiative has been launched in the Buffalo City in the Eastern Cape in order to tackle gender-based violence and child abuse through sport. It is founded by the Masimanyane Women's Rights International, which is a leading South African NGO that fights for gender equality as well as women's rights. And it is also supported by the Norwegian Embassy here in South Africa that funds initiatives promoting social justice as well as youth empowerment. And for this discussion, we're very pleased to bring in program coordinator for the Ladies Grassroots Soccer Program, as well as former Banyana player herself, Lelethu Nguta. Lelethu, what a pleasure. Good afternoon. So firstly, talk to us about this great initiative, going back to the roots, using the power of sports to create safer spaces for children, especially as we just wrapped up Child Protection Week in South Africa and seeing the myriad of child abuse as well as murder cases that we've actually encountered just this week alone.
Good afternoon to you and the viewers at large. Ibhola Ekhatywayo Ngamantombazana, as you have alluded, is a program that has been launched by Masimanyane Women's Rights International in Buffalo City. And the aim of the program is to contribute to making sure that gender-based violence is a scourge. So we're just trying to make sure that we try and defeat that. And the program has boys and girls around Buffalo City, just trying to make sure that we empower these young girls and boys, making sure that we give them all the tools, the life skills, all the things that they need to make sure that they survive in this world. And also to ensure that we give them all the tools. As Masimanyane, we do have the gender-based violence prevention programs and the gender-based violence, the social workers that we have. So with every participant around Buffalo City, because in Buffalo City we have 10 teams in this program, with 8 being for the girls teams, and then 2 boys teams. All this we're doing just to ensure that they are aware and know their rights. They are aware and know about gender-based violence and its impact both in their communities and in South Africa. So the program just tries to involve everyone to ensure that we fight gender-based violence.
Yes. Lelethu, let's look at that. How do you then identify your hotspot areas or your areas of concern where you then go and render your assistance? And how can those that actually are outside of the Buffalo Metro actually try and get hold of you? Because I suppose I was going to ask you if you're going to take this great initiative nationwide.
Because we started with this program last year, so we just piloted it in Buffalo City for now, and how we make sure that we identify the the hotspot areas is we do have stats from the SABC. We also do have stats from our TCC offices, which are Cecilia Makiwane Hospital in Tanzania, and also the Grey Hospital in King Williamstown. So we do have these stats that will show us, based on reported cases, that a certain area has high volumes of rape against women and children. And some areas, they will show us that there's high level of kidnapping maybe. So with all that stats combined, we look into it, and we had to identify at least the 10, because gender-based violence is just a nightmare around Ibhola City. But we had to identify, because we can only do a certain number of areas. We do want to go nationwide, but as I've mentioned before, that we just started with the program last year, and we just needed to find our ground and make sure that with the areas that we've identified so far, we make our mark and we see the impact, and then maybe we can move forward as long as we can get more funding to make sure that we reach all those areas.
Let's talk about that, Lelethu. I mean, what are you hoping will be the tangible impact of this campaign? And of course, you've just told us that you are looking into, of course, expanding your areas of expertise. Maybe also just tell us, for those that are not accessible in those underserviced or rural areas by your program, or not reached at this point, I know you do have other initiatives, right, that are not necessarily under this program. So how do they also get assistance? How do they get hold of you in order to get any assistance from your agency?
Around Ibhola City, our offices, Omas Manyane, has other programs, like we have a schools program, we have the TCCs, we have, or we had a dreams program, and then that's where all our staff in Wasimanyane, they go out in all the areas just to make sure that all the areas or the communities, they are aware of what Wasimanyane is doing. And when the programs go out, we make sure that we talk about the other services that Wasimanyane has. So if we go to one area, for instance, we go to Umtansane as Ibhola Ekhatywayo, and we find that there's a school that is not aware of what the other program is doing. And then we'll talk about all the programs that we have so that they can also benefit from the programs. In terms of us as Ibhola Ekhatywayo expanding and getting to other areas, we're still trying to make sure that we can get to or just master the ones that we have currently. And then we do have people do contact us to find out, because this is a very nice program. The parents have said so. The stakeholders that we have, which is the communities, they do say that it is a great initiative that we have started, and they would love for us to continue. But with the limited funding that we have for now, we can only do so much. But as we are hopeful that we'll get means to proceed with the program so that we can get even to other provinces as well.
So funding is what you are looking for and appealing to as we speak to you now, Lelethu. A very quick one before I let you go. How do you then see soccer creating that safer spaces for those children that you would have identified?
We know soccer is a very huge sport. And it's a very one of the supported sporting codes in South Africa. So every kid in our communities, most of our kids, they do love soccer. So if you attract the kids with what they love or with what they want, then we go and make sure that there's a team in that area, and make sure that those kids, when they are here, they get all the services that we offer, which is we do have gender-based violence workshops. We do have red card campaigns that we do in communities where we involve all the stakeholders. We do have the where we go to schools and do some campaigns there. So by making sure that we do all those things, we're just trying to empower them and ensure that we get them to actually know and understand what their rights are.
Absolutely.
They get to understand what is gender-based violence and what are the impacts and what is it that they can do if they actually find themselves in those areas.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Lelethu. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We're going to have to leave it there. I would have liked to continue forever with this great discussion. A great initiative. Good luck with that initiative as well as that funding that you are appealing for. That is Lelethu Nguta. She is, of course, the program coordinator for the Ladies Grassroots Soccer Program, as well as a former Banyana player, on a great initiative there that is using sports in order to curb and deal with GBV.